Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. First is Gen Ed 01, Art Appreciation. Chapter 1, Art, Creativity, Imagination, and the Expression. Study with me. Roles of humanities in man's life. Humanities comes from the Latin word humanus, which means educated. Gen Ed. Gen Ed 01, Art. Chapter 1, Art, Creativity, Imagination, and the Expression. Roles of humanity in man's life. Humanities comes from the Latin word humanus, which means educated. Humanus, educated. Latin word. Tama ba? Yes, Latin word. Art learning such as architecture, dance, literature, music, painting, theater, and sculpture. Ang art learning daw is itong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 according to Sanchez 2011. Architecture, dance, literature, music, painting, theater, and sculpture. Architecture, dance, literature, music, painting, theater, and sculpture. Reading nga muna. Reading. Humanities is more concerned on how a person expresses his or her feelings. This is a highlighter. Anyway. Latin. Latin word humanus means educated. Okay. Art learning such as architecture, dance, literature, music, painting, theater, and sculpture according to Sanchez 2011. Humanities is more concerned on how a person expresses his or her feelings. It can also be as the study on how people documented and processed their experiences, particularly in connecting to others. Humanities allows people to be artistic, creative, and connect to the community. Yes. Note, learning about humanities is important because without it, people will be stuck doing repetitive life routines. na nagre-result ng boredom. Meaning, humanities, the human race, humans being collectively, the fact or condition being human, learning or literature concerned with human culture, especially literature, history, art, music, and physical. Learning or literature concerned with human culture, especially music and philosophy. So, yung humanities, pag-aaral about humans, which is educated, architecture. Learning about humanities is important dahil kung wala ito, repetitive yung routine ng isang tao. The general views of the arts. Art comes from the Latin word as ars, which means crafts or specialized form of skill. May mastery, kumbaga. Representation art or object. So there are two kinds of general views of the arts. One is representation and second is non-representation. Pag sinabing representation art or objective art, these are the objects that are commonly recognized by most people. Art has subject such as in painting, sculptures, literature, and theater arts. May subject. Merong storya. Okay. Objective art. Objective. May purpose, ganun. Non-representation art or non-objective art, they do not present descriptions, stories, or references to identifiable objects or symbols, appear directly to the senses primarily because of the satisfying organization of their sensus and expressive elements. This is no story at all, non-representation art or not objective art. Okay. So, meron na tayong two general views of the arts and those are representation art and non-representation. Pag sinabing representation art or objective art, ito yung may mga storya na art or commonly known to people such as in paintings, meron yung behind the scene o bakit ito yung na-paint ng isang painting. Okay, and then yung non-objective, non-representation art or non-objective art, yeah. Ito yung they do not bear or present descriptions or stories dun sa kanilang gawa. Ang ano lang, gawa-gawa. Pero syempre marami pa rin namang magaganda. Nature of arts. Ito, nature of arts ay apat. We have arts of mimesis kay Plato, arts of representation kay Aristotle, art for art's sake kay Kant, and art as an escape na hindi ko alam kung kanino nanggaling. So, art of mimesis, art of representation, art for art's sake, and art as an escape. M-Ray. Okay, M-Ray. Art of mimesis, art of representation, M-Ray. Art of art's sake, and art of an escape. Sino to? P-A-K, Pak. Nature of Arts, M. Ray Pak. Art of mimesis, art of representation, art for art's sake, and art of an escape. Tapos, Pak. Art of mimesis kay Plato, art of Ray representation is kay Aristotle, and then Ray art of for art's sake kay Kant. Okay. And yung last ng escape. Okay, let's see. Art as mimesis kay Plato. All artistic creation is form of imitation. So, lahat daw ng arts, imitation lang. That which really exists in the world of ideas. is a type created by God. The concrete things man perceives in his existence are shadowy presentations of this ideal type. Basa ka, art of mimesis, form of imitation. Lahat ng artistic creation daw, form of imitation na nagmumula sa world of ideas. Type, world of ideas. That which really exists in the world of ideas created by God, sabi ni Plato. The concrete things man perceives in his existence are shadowy representations of this ideal type. Art as representation kay Aristotle. He recognized that literature is a representation of life, yet also believed that representations intervene between the viewer and the real. This creates world of illusion, leaving one away from the real things. Literature is a representation of life. Okay. It also believed that representations intervene between the viewer and the real. This creates worlds of illusion, leading one away from the real things. Art for art's sake by Kant. That art needs no justification, that it needs serve no political, didactic, or other ends. Art has its own reason of being. Art has its own reason of being. Art as an escape. The ritual of producing or making art touches the deepest reaches of the mind, the essential dimension of the artistic creative process. The sacred level of art not only transforms everything into art, but also transforms the artist at the very center of his or her being. Basta pag art as an escape, parang yung makakawala ka. You're free, you have the liberty, making art that touches the deepest reaches of the mind. Okay, the ritual of producing or making art. Okay, sacred level of art not only transforms everything into art but also transforms the artist. Something's changing. Art of mimesis, Plato, imitation, art as representation, Aristotle, representation of life, yung literature, art for art's sake, Kant, art has its own reason of being, no political didactic ends, and art as an escape, yung ritual of producing or making art, na not only transforming the art itself, but also the artist. The assumptions of arts, meron tayong art is universal. Art is not nature. Nature is not art. Art is a result of personal experience. Okay, so note, these are assumptions, which means that it is not proven and arguable. Depende sa inyo, maniniwala kayo na art is universal because number one reason is there is art anywhere else in the world. And two, it can send a message regardless of age, race, language, gender, etc. That's why it's called or assumed assume na art is universal. Art is not nature, and nature is not art because art needs an artist for it to exist, while nature can exist by itself. In this perspective, the religious belief that God is the art of nature is set aside. Oo. But, okay, art is not nature. And nature is not art. Kasi kapag art daw, kailangan ng artist. Pero yung nature daw, kayang mag-exist sa kanyang sarili. Kaya nasa-set aside yung religious belief na there is a God. Pero kung merong belief, nature has an artist and that is God. Pero dito sa assumption na to, wala. These artists who create art from their personal experiences, while there are also some who can create them from their imagination. Okay, so art is a result of personal experience. So, yung iba nakakapag-create dahil may personal experiences sila. So, mostly ito yung nangyayari. Pero yung iba naman, they can create just because may Kumbaga, nai-imagine lang nila out of nowhere. Intuitive people, parang ganun. Okay, 3, assumption of arts. Art is universal, art is not nature, and nature is not art, and art is a result of personal experience. Next is the purpose of art. So, meron na tayo roles of humanities in man's life. General views of the arts, yung dalawa, representation or objective, and non-representation or non-objective. Sumunod is yung nature of arts, which is yung apat, yung M-Ray, PAC, and the assumption of arts, yung tatlo. Art is universal, art is not nature, or nature is not art, and art is a result of personal experience. Then the susunod is the purpose of art. Grabe. So, dalawa na lang. Purpose of art and functions of art. Create beauty. The purpose of art, it creates beauty. Art is an expression of our thoughts, emotions, and intuitions. It portrays communication that cannot be presented by words alone. Nature is considered as the standard of beauty by the artists. So, create beauty, expression ito ng thoughts natin and emotions. It portrays communication na hindi kayang ibay word. At nature is considered as a standard of beauty by the artists. Nature. So, tatlo yan. Expression, communication, and tandaan natin, this is nature. Basta yun. Create beauty. Next, provide decoration. Totoo naman, artworks are used to create a pleasing environment. Intended to beautify things, to please and amuse the viewers through its colors and patterns. Yeah. Oh, wait. Ang i-highlight natin dito ay itong colors and patterns. Next, designing the classroom during parties. Design, okay. Yan. So, provide decoration. Mga practical, parang, ano naman to, automatic, pero, kasi sinasama sa exam, sa quizzes. Provide decoration. Artworks are used to create a pleasing environment. Intended to beautify things using colors and patterns and designing the classroom during parties. Example lang yan. Then, reveal truth. Nagre-reveal daw ito ng truth kasi ang artwork, it helps to pursue truth and attempts to reveal about how the world works. It allows artists to send a message to the souls of the recipients that help change their attitudes, their sensibility, and their ethics. Parang binabago nito yung isang soul, revealing what is kung sino talaga yung artists. It pursues truth and attempts to reveal about how the world works. Next, express values. Arts can illuminate our inner lives and enrich our emotional world. The artist will be encouraged to develop their creativity, challenge, and communication skills. Also promotes self-esteem and wellness. Okay, it can illuminate inner lives, enrich our emotional world. Artists will be encouraged to develop their creativity, challenge, and communication skills, and also promotes self-esteem and wellness. Ganyan sa fashion, di ba? Commemorate experience. Art serves to convey the personal experiences of an artist and record his impression in his work. So, minsan, di ba may mga artists na nagpe-paint for memories, memorial, ganon. So, here are the 5 purposes of art. It create beauty, provide decoration, create beauty, provide decoration, reveal truth, express values, and commemorate experience. So, CPR, CPREC, purposes of art, create beauty, provide decoration. CPREC, create beauty, CP, provide decoration. CP, reveal truth, express values, commemorate experience. Yeah, tama. CP, purpose of art. CP, create beauty. CP, wait, P, provide, beauty, wait, provide decoration. Create beauty, provide decoration, um, reveal truth, like A, express value and commemorate experience. Create beauty, provide decoration, reveal truth, express value, and commemorate experience. Yeah, those are the five purposes of art. Now, what are last one is the functions of arts. Three functions of arts, according to Shelley Isaac or Isaac, 2017. Physical, social, personal. Tatlo lang. Pero syempre meron pa iba. Pero according naman to kay Shelley Isaac. Physical, most easily perceived. Artwork that is created to perform some service has physical functions. Architecture and industrial design are types of art that has physical functions. Example, Japanese rakubo that serves its functions in a tea ceremony. Ito yung mga nakahawakan at nakikita. Japanese rakubo. Okay. Mga mangkok. Ganun. That serves its functions in a tea ceremony. Yeah. Next is social. Addresses aspects of life. Considered to have a social function if and when it addresses a particular collective interest as opposed to a personal interest. Political art is a very common example. Artworks that depicts social conditions. Uy, mga businessman dyan. The form of negotiation. Negotiation is an art na ba? Tanong natin. Pero ganun, negotiation. Form of art nga. Negotiation is widely considered an art form, not just a science, because it requires creativity, emotional intelligence, and adaptability rather than strict adherence to a formula. Yeah. So yan, sa mga social gathering. And personal is highly subjective and depends on the artist's need for self-expression or gratification. Artists wanted to communicate a point. Artists wanted to provide aesthetic expression both for themselves and the audience, and it can also be therapeutic and used to process emotions. Might also be for mere entertainment. For example, physical, ito yung mga object talaga, mga painting, architecture, or as in yung mga hawakan mo. Architecture, mga industrial designs. Kapag social, ito yung mga negotiation, mga politics, political socialization, mga ganon. Pero yung personal naman, ito naman yung mga for entertainment, like for example, theater, mga ganon. Expression both for themselves and the audience. Yeah. And those are the functions of art: physical, social, and personal. Yeah. All right, that is general Unit 1. General Education, Art Appreciation, Chapter 1, Art, Creativity, Imagination, and the Expression. Role of Humanities in man's life. Latin word humanus, which means educated. Art learning, such as architecture, dance, literature, music, painting, theater, and sculpture, and just 2011. Merong performing and fine arts. Okay, there are two general views of the arts. Those are representation and non-representation. Representation is objective art. Yun yung mga objects talaga na hawakan natin, such as painting, sculpture, and architecture, literature, and theater arts. ay may storya, hindi lang basta nahawakan, kumbaga may storya, which is theater arts, literature. And then non-representation art or non-objective art, they did not represent any stories, references, or descriptions, just for primarily because of the satisfying expressive elements ng isang tao. Nature of arts, M. Ray M. Ray. Yeah, M. Ray. M. Ray or M. Ray. Mimesis. Mimesis, representation for art's sake and escape. Kapag art as mimesis by Plato, yun yung imitation. Kapag art for representation, yun yung kay Artistotle na ang literature daw is representation of life. And then yung art for art's sake by Kant ay art has its own reasoning of being, and art as an escape, yung ritual of producing or making art. Assumptions of arts, tatlo: art is universal, art is not nature, nature is not art, and art is a result of personal experience. Purpose of art, meron tayong 5. Tama ba? 5. Siprek. Create beauty, provide decoration, reveal truth, express values, and commemorate experience. Tapos meron tayong tatlong functions of art. It is for physical, social, and according to Shelley, 2017, Isayak, 3 functions of art: physical, social, and personal. Ayun. Yun lang. Next, meron tayo, or bukas na tayo Gen Ed 2. Hindi. Tapusin natin yung art appreciation today. Grabe, ang dami nito. Humanities. Wait lang. Mag-active recall tayo. Ayan, nalimutan na. Agad-agad, diba? Humanums Educated, Latin, ito kay nandito si Sanchez, 2011. And merong general views ng arts. 2 yun, which is 1 is non-representation or objective art, and then yung isa is baliktad. Representation yung objective, then non-representation yung non-objective. Okay. Yung objective with stories represents stories. Ito without stories. Tapos meron ding ano yun? Meron ding nature, okay. Yan natin, kung maalala pa natin, nature of arts. Maalala pa natin, nature of arts. 4. For M, art of Mimesis by Plato. Art of Emery. For art's sake, kay Kant, has its own being. Representation yung isa, yun, naalala din. And kay Aristotle to. And then art as an escape. Okay, next is art assumptions. Ano yun natin? Art assumptions. Assumptions of art. Number 1 is art is universal. Next is art is not nature, and nature is not art. Tapos, yung pangatlo is art is a result. Art is a result. Art is a result of personal experience. Naku, hindi ko tanda yung mga title. Purpose of art and functions of art. So, purpose of art. 2, 3, 4, 5. Tama ba? 5 lang. C, P, reveal truth. Wait, si Pirak ba? Create beauty. Provide decoration. Reveal truth. Yung commemorate experiences. Ayun, express si Perek. Express values yung isang pang-apat. And then commemorate experience. Yan. And then lastly is functions of arts. Functions of art. 1, 2, 3, 4. Physical. Mas pinakilala. Most easily perceived, and social, yung ito yung mga negotiation, and then yung personality, yung mga pro entertainment. Yay! Ano tayo? General Education 1, Art Appreciation, Chapter 1, Art, Creativity, My Imagination, and Expression. Humanities educated Datin Sanchez, 2011. Gen Views of Arts, Nature of Arts, Arts of Assumptions, Purpose of Art, and the Functions of Art. Next. Bukas na, nakakatamad. Dami. Bukas na yan. Bye!